Hello dear students, this is Vishal sir from Ikra High School. Today we are going to study chapter 12, Electricity from Standard 12 NCERT syllabus. Let's study the chapter. Electricity has an important place in modern society. It is controllable and convenient form of energy for a variety of uses in homes, schools, hospital, industries and so on. That means children, today in our modern day-to-day life, it is impossible to expect a life without electricity. We are totally dependent on electricity. All our work is done through electricity. But there arises a question. What constitutes electricity? How does it flow in an electric circuit? And what are the factors that control or regulate the current through an electric circuit? All that questions will be answered in this chapter. Let's start our topic with electric current and circuit. We are familiar with the air current and water current. We know that flowing water constitutes water currents in reverse. Similarly, if the electric charge flows through a conductor, we say that there is an electric current. In a torch, we know that a cell or a battery, when placed in a proper order, provide flow of charge or an electric current through the torch bulb to glow. We have also seen that the torch gives light only when its switch is on. What does a switch do? A switch makes a conducting link between the cell and the bulb. The continuous and closed path of electric current is called electric circuit. Now, if the circuit is broken anywhere or the switch of the torch is turned off, the current stops flowing and the bulb does not glow. That means children, in this section, we come to know about a brief description of electric current. Actually, current is the flow of something. For air current, it is a flow of air. For water current, it is a flow of water. The flow of water that you see in reverse is known as water current. In the same manner, the charge in any conductor flows from one point to another point, and that flow of charge is known as electric current. But what is that charge composed of? And how does it flow in an electric circuit? What is a circuit? A circuit is a continuous and closed path of electric current. It is controlled by a switch which connects the two links between the cell and the bulb. How do we express electric current then? Electric current is expressed by the amount of charge flowing through a particular area in unit time. In other words, it is the rate of flow of electric charge. In circuits using metallic wire, electrons constitute the flow of charge. That means electrons which are present in any conductor flows from one point to another point while taking the charge with it. It has the charge that contains electric current. However, electrons were not known at the time when the phenomenon of electricity was observed. So while the electricity was discovered, scientists did not know about electrons. As you all know, an atom consists of three subatomic particles: proton, neutron and electron. Proton and neutron constitute a nucleus, while electron revolve around the nucleus. These electrons are free in nature in metallic materials, and these free electrons tend to move from one point to another point, taking some charge with it. That is what we call electric current. But initially, when the electricity was discovered, the knowledge of electron was not there. So, scientists assumed that the flow of current is due to positive charge proton, and thus it was conventionally said that in an electric circuit, the direction of electric current is taken as the opposite to the direction of the flow of electron, which are negative charge. Now here you can see the proper description of electric current. In current, the net charge flows across any cross section of the conductor in time t. Then the current I through the cross section is determined as I is equal to Q by T. Q is the amount of charge and T is the time taken to flow that amount of charge in any cross section of any conductor. The SI unit of electric charge is coulomb, which is equivalent to the charge contained in nearly 6 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. We have to note that the electron possesses a negative charge 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The electric current is expressed by a unit called ampere, named after French scientist André Marie Ampere. This one is the definition of ampere. 1 ampere is constituted by the flow of 1 coulomb of charge per second. That means 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb by 1 second. Small quantities of current expressed in milliampere that is 1 milliampere is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 ampere, or microampere, that is 1 microampere is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 ampere. An instrument called ammeter measures electric current in a circuit. It is always connected in series. We will study about series and parallel connection in the further chapter. Figure 12.1, the one given on the left hand side, shows the schematic diagram of a typical electric circuit. Here in this circuit you can see the source of current, that is battery or cell. The current flows from positive to negative, and the charge flows through any bulb or any material. It is measured by ammeter, which is controlled by a key K. Figure 12.1 shows the schematic diagram of a typical electric circuit comprising a cell, an electric bulb, an ammeter and a plug key. Note that the electric current flows in the circuit from the positive terminal of the cell to the negative terminal of the cell through the bulb and ammeter. Now there needs to be some energy to let the charge flow from one point to another. That energy or that difference is called electric potential or potential difference. What makes the electric charge to flow? Let us consider the analogy of flow of water. Charges do not flow in copper wire by themselves, just as water in a perfectly horizontal tube does not flow. If one end of the tube is connected to the tank of the water kept at higher level such that there is a pressure between the two ends of the tube, water flows out of the other end of the tube. For the flow of charges in a conducting metallic wire, the gravity of course has no real role to play. The electrons move only if there is a difference of electric pressure. That means, children, the flow of charge is only possible if there is a certain difference from one point to another point. The electrons will only move if there is a difference of electric pressure called potential difference. This difference of potential may be produced by a battery. So that is the function of the battery, to produce a potential difference such that the charge in the conductor can flow from point A to point B, consisting of one or more electric cells. The chemical action within a cell generates potential difference across the terminal of the cell, even when no current is drawn from it. When a cell is connected to a conducting circuit element, the potential difference sets the charge in the motion in a conductor and produce an electric current. That means this way the current is produced in any conductor. Whenever you connect a cell to a conducting circuit, there happens to be the potential difference that sets the charge in motion in a conductor, which flows from one point to another point. Here in this circuit you can say about that the potential difference is from positive to negative. So the charges will flow from positive all across the circuit to the negative, and then it will again accumulate to positive. From there again there will be a potential difference and the charge will continue to flow. In order to maintain the current in a given electric circuit, the cell has to expand its chemical energy stored in it. We define the electrical potential difference between 2 points in an electric circuit carrying out some current as the work done to move a unit charge from one point to other. Potential difference V between 2 points is equal to work done by charge. The SI unit of electric potential difference is volt, named after Alessandro Volta, an Italian physicist. 1 volt is the potential difference between 2 points in a current carrying conductor when 1 joule of work is done to move a charge of 1 coulomb from one point to another. That means this is the derivation of 1 volt, the potential difference. That is equal to 1 joule of work done to move 1 charge or 1 coulomb of charge in any circuit. The potential difference is measured by the means of an instrument called voltmeter. Voltmeter is always connected in parallel. So this you have to keep in mind, that the ammeter, which measures current, is connected in series, while the voltmeter, which measures the potential difference, is connected in parallel across the point between the potential difference is to be measured. Circuit diagram. Now you saw one schematic diagram. That means these are symbolic forms of certain instruments. These straight lines are the conductors. This is the ammeter. This is the key. This one is called the battery or the cell. This one is an instrument which operates on passing electric current. But what are these called? These should be known by the new topic that we are going to study, that is circuit diagram. Let's continue reading it. We know that electric circuit as shown in figure 12.1 comprise a cell or a battery, a plug key, electrical components and connecting wire. It is often convenient to draw a schematic diagram in which different components of circuit are represented by the symbols conveniently used. Conventional symbol used to represent some of the most commonly used electrical components are given in table 12.1. Here you can see the symbolic form of all the components. As for the electric cell, it is drawn like this, a positive bigger one and a negative smaller one, while a battery is drawn something like this, positive, then comes negative, then comes positive, then negative, positive and then negative. So this comprises of a battery. Here is the plug key or switch which is open. That means no current can pass through it while it is open. Next point, you can see there is a plug key with a dot in between it. That means it is closed. It will flow the electric current from this point to the other point. This is a wire joint, while this is a wire crossing without any joint. One wire on another wire. Electric bulb is drawn like this, and this is the symbolic form of resistance, while this is the variable resistance or what you call is rheostat. Ammeter should be drawn like this, one positive, negative and A should be written in between. Voltmeter should be represented like this as V written in between and positive and negative over here. Now our important topic for this lesson is Ohm's law. Ohm was a German physicist who wanted to establish a relationship between the potential difference and the current. So he took a nichrome wire, which is alloy of nickel, chromium, manganese and iron metal, and put it across a circuit like this. Here you can see 4 different cells are connected with each other. This one is V1, V2, V3 and V4. That means the cell 1, cell 2, cell 3 and cell 4. Here there are 2 points through which nichrome wire is connected. R is the nichrome wire. Now what Ohm did was he took the variable battery. That means he could sometimes increase the voltage of the battery or sometimes he could decrease the voltage of the battery. You can see 4 dotted lines in between here. That resembles that if you join the point over here, this one, the first one, then all the battery will be operative in the circuit. But if you join from this dotted line, not the other 3, it will be said that the 3 cells are connected in the circuit. The 4th cell is not connected. While if you draw from here, then 2 cells will be connected in the circuit, not the other 2. While if you go on the very left hand side of the cell and you connect the last dotted line, it will be said that only one battery is operating the whole circuit. In the circuit, the ammeter is connected in the series to note the current, while the voltmeter is connected across the 2 conducting points X and Y to note down the voltage of the circuit. A key is there to control the current from it. Now, while doing this experiment, Ohms noted the reading for each voltage and each current. He established a relation between these two, and what he got was something like this. This was the graph that he came to draw after taking all the measurements. As he increased the voltage, the same manner current was also increasing, which brought us to the conclusion that voltage and current forms a linear line. So let's read this part to understand it better. In this activity, you will find that approximately the same value of V upon I is obtained in each case. Thus, VI graph is a straight line that passes through the origin of the graph, as shown in figure 12.3. Thus, VI is a constant ratio. In 1827, a German physicist, Georg Simon Ohm, found out the relationship between the current I flowing in a metallic wire and the potential difference across its terminals. The potential difference V across the end of the given metallic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature remains the same. This is called Ohm's law. In other words, V varies to I or you can say V upon I is some constant, and that becomes the constant as R. R is a constant for the given metallic wire at a given temperature, and what we call R is resistance. That means the nichrome wire that we connected between points X and Y is the resistance which was constant, and we changed voltage and noted down the current. So what you got was, while the resistance was constant, V upon I became a straight line graph, or you can also derive it as V is equal to IR. It is a property of the conductor to resist the flow of charges. Its SI unit is ohm, represented by Greek letter omega. According to Ohm's law, R is equal to V upon I. If the potential difference across the two ends of the conductor is 1 volt of the current through it is 1 ampere, then the resistance R of the conductor is 1 ohm. This is the definition of ohm. That means 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt upon 1 ampere. Also from equation 12.5 we get I is equal to VR. It is obvious from equation 12.7 that the current through a resistor is inversely proportional to its resistance. If the resistance is doubled, the current gets half. In many practical cases, it is necessary to increase or decrease the current in an electric circuit. This you must have observed, students, in your home, the regulator of your fan. It increases or decreases the current to slow down or increase the speed of the fan. A component used to regulate current without changing the voltage source is called variable resistance. That means your regulator at the home is the variable resistance. In an electric circuit, a device called rheostat is often used to change the resistance in the circuit. We will now study about electrical resistance of a conductor with the help of the following activity. So in this activity, you construct a circuit with points X and Y. That point should be connected one time with nichrome wire while measuring the ammeter and the volt, sometime with 10 volt bulb and sometime with torch bulb. And you need to note down the ammeter and the voltmeter reading for each of them. Take a nichrome wire, a torch bulb, a 10 volt bulb and an ammeter of 0.5 ampere range, a key and some connecting wire. Set up the circuit by connecting 4 dry cells. So these are the 4 dry cells, 1, 2, 3 and 4 of 1.5 volt each in series, and the ammeter leaving a gap XY in the circuit as shown in figure 12.4. Complete the circuit by connecting the nichrome wire in the gap XY. Plug the key. Note down the ammeter reading. Take out the key from the plug. Note, always take out the key from the plug after measuring the current through the circuit. Replace the nichrome wire with the torch bulb in the circuit and find the current through it by measuring the reading of the ammeter. Now repeat the above step with a 10 volt bulb in the gap XY. Are the ammeter reading different for different component connected in the gap XY? What do the above observations indicate? You may repeat this activity by keeping any material component in the gap. Observe the ammeter reading in each case and analyze the observation. So, while changing the different components between the circuit, you will observe that as soon as you change the component, the current in the circuit also changes. That means certain components offer an easy path for the flow of electric current while others resist the flow. The more ammeter reading means the low resistance. The less current reading, that means the more resistance. We know that motion of electrons in the electric circuit constitute an electric current. The electrons, however, are not completely free to move within the conductor. That means free electrons are easily move in a conductor, but not totally free to move in any conductor. They face some hindrance while moving in the conductor. They are restrained by the attraction of the atom among which they move. Thus, motion of electron through a conductor is retarded by its resistance. That means the current is in the indirect proportion to the resistance. If the resistance increases, current will flow less. If the resistance decreases, current will flow more. A component of the given size that offers a low resistance is a good conductor. So the materials which offer low resistance are considered as good conductor, and the materials that have some appreciable resistance is called a resistor, while a component of identical size that offer higher resistance is a poor conductor. So here you can see three different types of material: a good conductor, with the materials which offer low resistance; a resistor is a conductor having some appreciable resistance; and a component of identical size that offers higher resistance is considered as poor conductor. While the fourth one is an insulator. Insulator has the highest resistance. That means it does not flow a single amount of current from one point to another. The examples would be wood, plastic, glass. They have the highest resistance in them. That means they have very least amount or no free electrons in them, which passes the charge from one point to another. So those are called insulators. Thank you, children.